Okay, so we'll move on to the introduction. Maybe I don't know, Mateo, if we will say a few words about ourselves, I'll skip it. Like the most important thing, I think, is that we are both new media art department graduates. And since our bachelor in 2016, we are involved in the new media art department activities. And I am a designer involved in multiple activities and cooperate with several studios. For a long time also, I was part of the team of Oficina Periferia, which is an independent publishing house whose main aim was to make and popularize art book and zines. And Matthew, maybe like a few words about you.
Yes.
Before.
You can know me from the silkscreen studio that we run at the university. So I'll just show you the slide. We jump a bit further. This is us. We work together. I work mostly as a type designer, but also I work in visual communication in a very broad ways, let's say. And just to give you an idea of what we are going to talk now is the essence of the workshops, the introduction we are done, the work methodology, the visual strategies, a couple of examples, although we've seen so many already from Kuba. A little introduction on how we want you to prepare your materials, introduction of the reading materials, and introduction for the tasks and time for the questions if you have any afterwards. So I think that's all, and maybe we can just move on to the essence of the workshop.
Yes, exactly. So maybe I will start with the notion that before the quarantine, we were planning to open with you a pop-up printing house at the Academy, also with the collaboration of Anti-Fascist Year initiative. We wanted to create and print and publish zines with you. I hope that maybe next year or someday it will happen. But for now, as the formula of the workshop changed and we moved online, the printing wasn't an option anymore. Therefore, we decided to use our workshop time to discuss the current situation of isolation and state of exception. So for that purpose, we wanted to use a window, both in a literal sense and as a metaphor, because we think that right now windows are a common ground for our isolation experience. They are both the barrier, which, as we mentioned before, separates us from the outside world, and the observation point of our nearest surroundings. So there are a lot
very,
of
very interesting. Sorry, Natalia, I would just say, I think Claudius mentioned that they are also a point of reflection, which is also both symbolic and ritual. Like you can just see yourself in the window, and well, let's just move on, Natalia.
You will acknowledge of your reflection. And so this workshops is actually an active artistic immediate response to the current situation. The results are both unknown, yet we think it's like a great opportunity to reflect upon the uncertainty of the world within a cultural, economic diversity that represents our school community. So we would like to use this unique time in the history wherever we like it or not, and we would like you to acknowledge this moment and think about it. So we want to start with a question about the future of a global village and free cultural exchange. To support those questions, we collected a few articles and videos made by philosophers and thinkers like, as Kuba mentioned before as well, Giorgio Agamben, Noam Chomsky. He's like 92 right now, right, Maciej? He's a pretty old guy. and Franco Bifo Berardi, and also by Rebecca Solnit, to who I was referring before. And we think that those short articles may be interesting starting points for us to discuss the other issues when it comes to the isolation and so on and future of our society. Because in those small pieces of writing, those people referring directly to the isolation, social distancing, and the state of exception. And each time they try to describe the threats that the current crisis announces in a future time. So you can find those files, those articles, links to be more precise, in our workshop file, in a file of our workshop class. So we'll talk about it later when we will sum up. But I think this will be your first task for this workshops, to read those materials and then to think about them a little bit more. So tomorrow we could ask ourselves some questions and discuss those issues more properly. So now we will move to the work methodology, and now Maciek will explain those.
Right. So the aim of the workshop and the methodology, we want you to design a visual message or visual materials, which will be relating to the main topic of the workshop. So that is isolation, social distance, and the state of emergency. And we don't want you to be bound to a illustration or poster or animation. You can just explore any tool, visual tool that you are common with, or you feel good at, or maybe you want to try something new. That's totally fine with us. And we'll be focusing on the one's view of the outside world from the inside. So this is the window of from my room. It's not the most beautiful view, as you can see. And during this imposed state of isolation, outside is available to us only through the window, in a way, as we mentioned before. So there is this window which is physical, and there is a window which is virtual. Of course, this electronic interface of on our computers. So we have two possibilities to move on, in a way. That is the physical window and the digital window that will play around in the upcoming days. And we would like to begin by collecting the images of your windows. We'll have a little guide on how to prepare these, so that we can manipulate the view behind. And we actually saw some of the examples before of this sort of collage approach to designing a visual message or a visual statement, or even, it doesn't need to be political. It could be a statement of your emotions, let's say. And of course, then, as I mentioned, we will take it further and try to think how we can play with the digital images and digital, let's say, iconic views and iconic layouts, to present the same directly in the computer. And we will like to present these at the little website that we run for a freedom of speech in the digital world classes that we conduct for the third year. I will just no, sorry. I will just jump here. Okay, so it's almost empty now. This is created to promote and publish students' work. We have some videos already that we recorded for the class, and we decided to take this on and add a meanwhile and create a sub page for our workshop. So this is where we will end up with your outcomes. And
Yeah, so maybe I will just add that meanwhile site rise from our need to promote student works, and since we are conducting the course called Freedom of Speech in a Digital World, we decided to build a small site website to publish your projects. And then we thought that maybe it would be good to kind of extend the website, the initiative, to further let's say workshop or other initiatives which are taking place in our school. So yeah, as Maciej said, you will find there probably also the lectures from this meeting, from our workshops, together with other materials, and of course with your projects.
Yes, and what you can see on the screen is, of course, this is the same image, but we want in a way to have a block of flats of your windows, a collage of all the windows collected afterwards. So this will be in a way the style that we present these. Let's say. Okay, let's move on.
Can I add only one more thing about the work methodology? Because when it comes to the Windows, you can. I mean, this is like one of the options, but we would like to actually use this window matrix for you, because we think it. When we gather all the project, it will look really stunning in terms of aesthetic, but also pretty meaningful in terms of considering window as a certain symbol of our times nowadays. So of course we will thinking about when it comes to that kind of matrix windows, we don't think only about in terms of image, but also like other possibilities like short animation, GIF, and others. So we give you kind of like a matrix, and what we'll do with it is like your call. Yeah, so
Right. Okay. So let's go. Let's go further.
yes. So now when the methodology more or less is known, you know what to expect more or less. Of course, we would like to move to the showcases. So as lecture by Kuba Debczyński covered the artistic activities in times of crisis, let's say, but in the past, which gave you some historical background and the context for your work. We, on the other hand, would like to share with you some subjective overview of modern visual strategies as an answer to certain crises. So maybe I will start with a note that the note about the state of exception. So the restriction of our civil rights or the state of exception that has been ordered by many countries is a clear sign of that kind of crisis. But some of the modern thinkers state that modern societies, our societies, have been existing, functioning in that permanent state of exception for a long time now. It's not only the pandemic state, it's like long before. So this symbolic state of exception can be characterized by, for example, certain fear management. So constant announcement of further restrictions toward citizens in order to keep them safe, as the government says, and stable, and to maintain the public good. So when we refer to the state of exception, we don't exactly mean explain it in terms of law, but also in terms of kind of threat, symbolic state. So After this note, I think we will start with the single websites. Then we will move to more artistic approach, and then we will end with local and global artistic initiatives. So maybe
can you see the website? I'm not sure if I'm showing the right window. Can you see it?
I see the Meanwhile website.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so this is it, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll like to show you simple websites which can be treated as a statements. Statements nowadays can be published not only on paper but also online. We found this examples pretty interesting, and if some of you knows how to build like very simple website, you can use it as a tool as well for your work, certain work. So those websites which we will present contains the information and kind of visual message at the same time. They're like those are mixed. So first site will be 50 state blueprint, which is website which represents the representation, which give you a representation of people in state prisons and jails in the United States. I mean, the prison system in US has been inefficient for a long time, and here we have the example of a certain campaign called Smart Justice. So the aim of this campaign is to cut the national jail and prison populations, because it's like really a lot of people in jail in the United States right now, and the initiative wants to its goal is to like, let's say, work with the law, and they want to some kind of want to help the states to get some kind of like 50% reduction of the prisoners in the United States. And what's the interesting thing here is like maybe here it's not visible that well, but every of that orange dot represents one of the prisoners in the United States. So I'm not sure how many of them, how many of prisoners has the United States prisoner system right now, but it would be like 1 million or on 1.5 million of people are just like locked down for I don't know, from few months till the rest of their lives. And oh yeah, you can say it. So for us, it's like a pretty interesting example of how can you use the website to show not only the flat data or the, you know, to publish the message, but also to engage the viewer within the issue.
Right, so we'll post a link to this. Of course, you can have a look if you want. The next example is about the Paris Agreement that you probably heard of, which is again, in a way, against US. So
Sorry,
the
United
US
States.
didn't sign the Paris Agreement, which is aiming to reduce the greenhouse gases emission. And of course, here you can see who signed the petition, the agreement, and they are sorted by the amount of greenhouse gases produced. So as we scroll down, you can see how many countries signed up and the percentage of the whole emission. And then, of course, this is increasing, and we reach the country which didn't sign, and even you can see China signing the petition, and there's a little statement from actually the creative digital agency that created the website. And I think it's a very good way of using the tool that they have in-house and probably that they provide commercially, and to, in a way, promote their work, their engagement. So you could also have a look at this example. Let's go Let's go on.
Yeah. So the last one, I'm fan of this solution very much. The last example is like it covers like a kind of another field, but still it's connected a little bit to the Paris Agreement, because this is like the website of Low Tech magazine. As you can see, there is there's the like two colors of the site, the white one and the yellowish. What is interesting about the site, that this is the another website which we can call the statement website, and this is the website which is like solar powered. You can see in the middle some very small icon of the battery, which tells us that this actual website running out of power, and probably when the battery will be dead for a while, the website also will be won't be available. But what
So
is
you can
like,
see also that it's up for 2 weeks now, and if it runs out of energy, it's down. So this
yes,
is the
yes. So this actually website, Low Tech Magazine, promotes or the website was designed to radically reduce the energy use associated with accessing the web content. And this website is a part of a digital ecology wave, which aims to redefine certain relationships with technology and reduce its negative impact on the environment. So it gives us some further thoughts when we think that about level of consumption, energy consumption, that becomes a problem, since we know that internet infrastructure is responsible for generating huge amounts of carbon gas each year. And to give you some example, to explain very simple, internet is data. Data is energy consuming. And for example, in 2018, watching online videos only generated more than 300 million tons of carbon gas, that which is like as much greenhouse gas as annual Spain emissions, only by watching Vimeo, YouTube, and so on. So this website promotes low-tech solutions, and even it provides a whole plan to build solar-powered server and website, which is pretty interesting.
right. Okay, so this is the last example of the website we have, but let's move on, and we would like to show you a meme, which Kuba already mentioned. But there is this very, I think, interesting case, and we believe, maybe let's start with this, that memes, besides being very sometimes funny, sometimes harmful, they can be a source of opinion forming tool in a way, or at least a spring for discussion. So there was this very interesting, I think, probably most of you seen this online, idea of that, which is, I think, harmful, that we are the virus. This is not a way I personally think we should talk about this problem. But anyway, that the rivers, the waters of Venice, the canals, they cleaned up because there were no tourists and dolphins and all kind of other animals appeared there, and it came out to be somehow faked, and it started this trend, this meme style, let's say, I don't know precise meme category maybe, like which is about nature coming back. And I think this is a very interesting thing to observe and see how we perceive our culture in the context of nature. So you can see here, of course, the cartoon character coming back to life in the streets of Ireland, I believe, or London, the duck.
Yeah, wait a second. Can you see me? Can you show the duck? Wildlife finally returning to teams. Nature is healing. So you can see it's like I obviously ironic meme, who is it's a kind of contradiction to the statements that thanks to the pandemic state, the nature starts to restore and so on.
Right, you can see the cats or
Yes,
the
here.
pizza coming back on the streets of Italy, and in nature, ducks. And I think one of my favorite is actually this Lime scooters, which you could observe the same thing happening in Warsaw. And I think this should be really this is really disgusting in a way, how people treat these anyway. Yeah, and some more, let's say, photo manipulated examples, Disneyland, and of course the great Big Apple and the King Kong example is here. Very interesting. You can have a look. There's more to see and more to explore. There's one interesting example of let's say, art or performance that I would like to show you. This is Simon Weckert with his hack of Google Maps. And basically what he did is with his little red card that you can see here, with 99 mobile phones with Google Maps turned on, he started to walking the streets of Berlin. And as you can see, of course, here the streets are empty, but on the Google Maps, it highlighted as a really busy street, so people would avoid this. And I think this is a very interesting project which questions how we trust the technology and the digital sphere of information, let's say, because somehow the map, of course, you can lie with map, and there's an amazing book on how to lie with maps. But in a way, we perceive them as truth, and this is like, it's coming from the satellite, it's connected with all the servers and so on, so it needs it's probably true. And also, of course, we deeply rely on this in our everyday life. I'm pretty sure that most of you have had a look at the Google Maps, either checking restaurants, bars, or even how to get there. So now consider that this could be influenced by algorithm or behaviors like this, where he's using this card to of course hack Google, let's say. And Natalia, I think you turned off your headphones and I can hear myself.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. So anyway, there is an Apple website which shows the decrease in the movement, in the mobility trends. You can see that now we have minus 74% of walking activities compared to before quarantine. So in a way, all this data and all this algorithm, they are constantly running and collecting information about us. There's also a very interesting article which collects about the information about all kind of new surveillance tools which several countries, or you can see quite some, took to fight the coronavirus situation. So this will be also in the links for you to have a look. And the next one, also connected to art and design, is Stefan Sagmeister. You can know him probably from this very iconic poster he, in a way, let's say, designed, curving the content of the poster onto his body. But the work we want to show you is the Happy Show, which I think is speaking about a different kind of crisis, more of a crisis of emotion, of lack of happiness, in a way that the designer claimed to face. And he took up this project, the Happy Project, some years ago, which ended up being a movie and exhibition traveling around the world. And he took some different, let's say, stereotypical approaches to fight for his happiness. For example, he went to India to meditate, which is in a way a very common idea that maybe this can help, or you just leave
Cliche,
everywhere,
I
every
would say.
cliche. Yes, you leave everything, you go to the mountains, and therefore you are happy. Or he tried taking pills that were prescribed by the doctors, and he fell in love during the movie, and so on. And so you can have a look at the website. I think it's very beautiful because of the way that he created data with the visitors. So here you can see that every visitor had a ball, and he could present or vote for his sort of way of happiness. And I think it's very interesting to say this because now I think a lot of people are experiencing emotional crisis, and a lot of people seek help by even talking through Skype or whatever to the doctors. And I think this is very important to say that that this state is influencing the way we feel and perceive where maybe even like the reason for our existence, maybe like okay, so that's another example we would like you to have a look at.
Yeah, so at the end of this kind of artistic approach, like few examples of our modern approach, we would like to go back a little bit to in time to 70s. We would like to show, of course, Kuba was he was discussing like a lot of posters and initiatives which were taking part back in the days in United States in the 60s and 70s. But we would like to present you another significant figure and for this period, I would say, Carita Kent, which is also known as Sister Mary Carita, and she was an artist with an innovative approach to design and education back in the days. By the 60s, her vibrant silkscreen works were drawing international attention, and Corita's work reflected her concerns about poverty, racism, and war, and her messages of peace and social justice strongly resonated within the people. So she was kind of a warrior of social causes, speaking with the visual language of pop art before Andy Warhol did. So in her work, maybe Maciej, you can show some of her works as well, which are mostly silk screen works. Uh, in her works, you can see the Bible quotes, of course, advertising slogans, pieces of literature. So she gives some kind of hope, wanted to give some kind of hope to bring some hope and joy to that time. So you can see the colors of the silk screen works that she made. They're very vibrant, very fresh, and she was using the consumption culture to communicate with her audience, and believing that she must use the language, simple language, to communicate with a lot with a broad amount of the people. So I think she's like best known for her anti-war posters made during 70s.
We actually
Okay,
had
so
some. I'm sorry, I would just jump here. And she was actually expelled from the church, as being a nun, for taking up this anti-war statements and
yeah, for
creating
involving
them.
in a political, let's say, life.
Yes,
So
and you
she,
can see she had this workshop with nuns, which is very, very beautiful, I think, where she would create all these kind of posters. And I'll just add one thing. Natalia mentioned Andy Warhol, and it's believed that Andy was actually a student maybe of Carita, and she had some ideas of reusing the advertisement banners. You can see here the very famous soup, can soup, which later on became Andy Warhol iconic piece. So that's an interesting idea, maybe just to leave you with, or like a ciekawostka, which would be I don't know, additional information, let's say. Okay, let's move on.
Yes, so we would like to end this showcase with initiatives. We would like to present some artistic graphic initiatives, modern initiatives, both global and local. Common ground of these activities is the need of engaging as many people as possible, mostly graphic designers, to make a work and share the outcome of the work with other people. So we will start with Polish initiative, which is called Pogotowie Graficzne, in English, Graphic Emergency. You can see Maciej scrolling through their website. So Graphic Emergency is a Polish initiative bringing together graphic designers, illustrators who provide visual materials, mostly posters, for social and political initiatives. Those posters can be used on social media or simply printed and used in another way. The most important is kind of message that resonates for this website, for those materials, that your choice is important. So whenever the Polish politics gets hot, Graphic Emergency is ready to publish new materials to download. So it all began with the Black protest in 2016, or as you can call it also with the International Women's Strike, which is an initiative raised when Polish government tried to tighten abortion law in Poland. And since then, Graphic Emergency published dozens of materials for regular people to manifest their resistance or beliefs. They were involved in a teacher strike and other women's strikes, but also people prepared and published here some posters about voting rights in Poland. So this is like very interesting website to look on, especially that you as a graphic designers, illustrators could join and publish your own work for other people to see, to share, and to download.
Right. So another example is the same idea, that there is a huge collection of posters, of designs. Stay sane, stay safe, from a Dutch graphic design studio, who wish to send a positive message to those who stay home, but also to the people working in hospitals and fighting for life of the ones that were unfortunate to have the virus
Can
and other
I
cases.
just step in for a second?
Yeah,
Because
please.
for me, this is like a kind of controversial initiative in terms of should the healthcare department needs the posters, or is it like I don't know if appropriate, but it's like the hospitals are fighting right now within the getting more supplies for themselves to keep them safe. And then we have this poster initiative. But then I realized that maybe in that time of crisis, no one wants to just or maybe not no one. We need some initiatives, right? I mean, not to stand and wait for this to end. I think that people like needs to have the feeling that they can do actually something whenever it is like donating some money or publishing and printing posters. So then after this like small thought that I realized that maybe whenever could help you as a person, as an individual to deal with this whole situation, it could be actually a good idea.
Right. I think if it's not instead of helping, if for example there is a
Yeah.
need for financial support or whatever, I think there is nothing wrong with it because of course I've seen they later on delivered this posters to hospitals and some of people place them in the windows. I think it's it's a important culture I suppose as well, and culture is not dead yet, even though we cannot go out. I think so. We can discuss this afterwards if you are still listening to us. Um, so anyway, this is just one of the examples we wanted to show you. And now I will just jump on quickly to a little PDF that we created for you, and it will be on the drive soon. So how
Yeah.
we want your window to be done. I will not go through the whole thing exactly. You can read it afterwards. But as we mentioned, we want to work with the image of your window, which of course it's nice to have some flowers, but for the sake of the windows, try to keep it as clean as possible. So get rid of the flowers for a second, or curtains, or whatever you might have.
Yeah, but
Take a nice.
you don't have to clean the windows. I mean,
Right, no, as you can see, my windows are quite messy. So anyway, so here's a little preview of how I worked with my image. I took it simply with my with a mobile phone to make it a bit more, let's say, bright and even, and then working with owning the layers. I'm pretty sure that you all have the skills to do it, but we just wanted to make sure that you all have just written down. This is the outcome of my window, and this is the outcome of our.
again.
I'm sorry, of our collaboration with Natalia. Okay, so now let me just quickly scroll through the lecture from the things we missed, and let's go back to the reading materials.
Yeah, because we will talk about it in a minute, that the preparing the window will be your task for today. But also, as I mentioned before, we would like you to read some materials. You also can find the links in the file of our in our classroom on the Microsoft Teams. So there are waiting for you, I guess, like three links, major links for you to read. First of all, Giorgio Agamben clarifications. And Giorgio Agamben is an Italian philosopher best known for his work investigating the concept of a state of exception and the concept of homo sacer. Homo sacer is a Roman concept, like very briefly, Roman concept of individual who is banned from society and all of his rights as a citizen are revoked. So he can be killed by anyone. He is not a citizen anymore. And in this short essay, Agamben, the essay Clarifications, Agamben discusses the ethical and political consequences of the epidemic. So it's like one of the starting points of discussion. Another essay or a diary, I'd say, was wrote by Franco Bifo Berardi, who is also an Italian philosopher, and whose work mainly focuses on the role of the media and information technology within the post-industrial capitalism. I know it's like sounds complicated, but what he wrote is like pretty simple and interesting. So Berardi responded to the current situation of epidemic within a blog, which is also, I think, interesting starting point for you guys. I mean, maybe it would be nice to write down your feelings, emotions, and thoughts when it comes to the state of isolation and quarantine and whatsoever, to just like have it on paper. Yeah, and the third piece is Rebecca Solnit, Ideology of Isolation, and she writes on society and also the effect of disconnection. And Rebecca Solnit is an American writer. She has written on variety of subjects, including feminist and environment, politics, place, and art. So besides of that, we have like also Noam Chomsky, but I think those three pieces are most important. So there are the Agamben and Rebecca Solnit for you to read for tomorrow. Those are very short and interesting pieces. Yeah, Mati, do you have the slide with the tasks or?
Yes, yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, okay. So here you have it on the main screen for tomorrow. But before, yeah, no, okay. So yeah. So read the text, please, and also find the tutorial within the files about making the window. So we would like you to prepare for tomorrow your window image template. Prepare. Or maybe reflect on the situation and prepare a first like warming up exercise. We'll be preparing color version of your window and maybe prepare a selfie version of your window.
Right, because of course we don't know all of your faces. We don't recognize every student by the name, so it will be, I think, sorry to say this, but I think it will be very nice to also have this input from you. And also, if you find the reading text, maybe also you read something additional on the internet, which you could share with other students and with us, so that we could have an additional read. And it doesn't necessarily need to be in English, but if it's in any other language, please write a little, like 5 sentences about the article, so that we could have a look at. Okay,
Yeah.
and when we talk about this window, we please try to keep it as big resolution as possible, and also we would like to have different states of this image in the same, let's say, conditions. So don't change the size of the window or whatever, so that we could then create a animated version of all everyday tasks, let's say, as one. And just to clarify, so this would be the starting point. Take a picture of the window, prepare it as a template. Then we would like you to play with colors or shapes or whatever that could somehow, in an abstract way, illustrate your current emotions or feelings or just a beautiful picture you can create. And then, of course, the simple that simple window with yourself. As you can see, you can cut yourself a little bit, so it doesn't need to be like the whole face.
Doesn't hurt.
Yes.
And Mate, maybe because I see that Susanna is writing. Can we put something we miss in colorful window? Yeah, sure. I mean, I think that will be the more advanced stage of our design, to interfere within the outside view, or to making the collage for now, maybe we'll start because we wanted to start with some, simple warming up exercises. So just to expand your imagination on your final work. So maybe we'll stay true to the colors and maybe selfie and
you can of course prepare your idea for the project, because we want to keep on working with these and the digital images, digital windows till the end. So you can also consider what kind of reflection or idea or whatever image you want to place. Of course, you can then work not with the sort of fake window, but you can interact with whatever you have on the outside. I think this will be very interesting as well. Or you can doodle an animation or whatever. I mean, there is no very specific mean that you have to use to create those. Okay. I
I
cannot
think
see
Marta
the
Rosler is
chat now, so
I think Marta Rosler is like a nice reference point. The artist that was mentioned by Kuba.
yes.
And Maciej, maybe since you are sharing with us your screen, because Claudio said that maybe we can show how to find the files in the.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So
I will just. If you have any questions, this is the last. And just to say, there is this lecture on the 23rd, 6 p.m. Of really great editorial narrative designer, let's say Warren. So keep this in mind, okay? So just close this. Can you still see me? Okay.
yeah, I will still see you.
Okay, so now it's tricky because I'm not fully sure. Okay. So we are in the general course files, and then here, of course, we have the files, and the materials will be placed here just after we finish the talk.
Yeah. So so here you have like a schedule of our meetings, so you can in detail. So every day we will meet at 10 in the morning and discuss what we are going to do today, the progress of our work. Tomorrow we would like to start the discussion about the state of exception after you read those 3 pieces of literature, let's say, those 3 articles. And then, as you can see, from 11 we start, from 10 we start online meeting. At 11 we start with the individual consultations. And then we want to do some kind of sum up at the end of the day, at the third, at the end of the day. I'm not sure how much time do we need for that. We'll see, but just for you to know the structure of the workshops. And maybe
Right.
Maciej will show also the general file. Oh, here you have as well. Well, reading materials. So I put it some links here together with the explanation of what is it. So the first, Giorgio, the first 3 ones will be for you to read. Also, maybe it would be good if you want to find something, if you will find some article about connected to the topic, maybe you can do some that kind of a research as well, and also prepared for tomorrow, explained what is it about. It can be in your native language. It doesn't have to be in English. So I think it also will be really nice to see your kind of what was interesting for you when it comes to the research.
Okay, so I think we have it pretty much summed up.
Yeah.
Do you have any? Sorry, not that I go on.
No. I just wanted to ask if you are there. If yes, you can turn on your microphones and say hello, or if you have any questions,
Or you
if
can just write down hello, maybe.
Yeah, because
so that
we're
we
not
know
sure.
that you exist and okay.
Hello. Yeah, great.
I've got actually a question.
Great.
To this second point, what we have to do,
Mhm.
Yes.
and find and upload text on isolations, like somehow like we found through this time or something, like not connected to your text, right? Just in internet
Yes,
somewhere.
yes. You just like we would like to what we would like to do today is like to do some small research
Uh-huh.
and to just think about the topic, just look outside your window and with the cup of coffee and so on and think about it and yeah, make some small research on the internet. Maybe something interesting actually will catch your eye and you would like to share on it.
Okay.
But so the research, but also the please read the texts that we sent to you, and
Yeah.
yeah, that will be. I think that they're pretty reasonable, warm up tasks for tomorrow.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Thanks.
Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot. Okay. Oh yeah, Claudius, he has right actually. Maybe each of you will like do the short introduction so we can hear your voice, so we know that you're actual people, not the bots, or no one is pretending to attend the workshop. Uh, yeah, yeah, and
Okay,
maybe
so who can go first, please? Please, let's get this
Hey,
introduction.
I can go first.
Okay.
great.
Hi, my name is Alex. Like, I'm the second year student here, and what else? I don't know. I don't. Right now, I'm in Warsaw, sitting home and listening to you.
Which floor? Which floor are you on?
Third to 12, sorry.
Okay.
12. Oh my God, so pretty
Very
Yeah,
high.
nice, Alex.
the view is kind of nice here.
Lucky.
What do you see outside?
Uh, I see this. I see the city center, like. Mostly houses, like the urban district. I'm near the Westin Hotel, if you know where is that.
Right. So,
Mm-hmm.
so you have quite a
All right.
nice field to work with, I think, through your window.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
better than
Kind of.
nature.
Okay.
Okay,
Nice.
Thank
thanks
you
a
very
lot.
much.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
Who wants to go next?
Okay, so I can be next. I can turn on my camera, so you will like meet me.
Yay, hello.
Hey, so I'm first year student actually, and I'm living on the suburb in like next to Warsaw actually. So I'm in this privileged situation that I can go out to the forest, like it's 1 minute from my house actually behind the fence. So I have a garden, so it's like not so difficult maybe.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can see in your background
Mm.
that you have some nice green things outside. So
Yes.
we have nothing to complain on actually.
Yeah,
Just like
like it's
you.
it's not so bad. Like
Yeah,
there are some things like we all like feel or something, but it's still not the center of the war. So I couldn't imagine myself in this situation actually. Yeah. So
yeah.
that's it. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Nice to see you.
Oh, Claudia, yeah. Okay, so next, or maybe I will introduce my outside view, but if it's like very boring.
Come on, please.
Guys,
We have Alina. Alina, please.
Hey there, can you see me? Can you actually hear me?
yeah, we can hear
Yes.
you, we can see the cat.
But I can actually turn on my camera so you can like meet me.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so hello everyone.
Hello.
And right now I'm in Belarus, Bobruisk, because I had to move from Warsaw to my hometown to
Mhm.
my parents. And I'm sitting at my home. I can say that it's just pretty boring there, but I try to cheer up myself and do some great stuff.
Okay. How's your view from the window? Is it anyhow not concrete in front of you?
I don't know actually what to say because it's all in trees and
Okay,
plants.
that's nice. Lucky you.
Nice
Yeah.
to meet you, Alina. So,
Me too.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Thanks a lot. Okay. Anastasia says hi, but her microphone's not working. So, oh, Jesus, Kazakhstan. Wow, that's amazing, actually. I mean, the US, so on. I'm just like looking forward to see all your window views, guys. And I
Okay.
promise I will do my own as well.
We have also Maria from Spain. But are you Maria? Are you in Warsaw or are you in your hometown?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, Warsaw.
Okay, Warsaw. Damn. I thought it could be Spain, but here, nice to hear from you, Maria. Hope we'll have a nice conversation tomorrow about everything.
Yes, and
Okay,
if you
so
need any help organized in Warsaw, I don't know how long you've been here, but just let us know. We could maybe try to recommend something if you need anything from here, let's say. Okay, so just let us know.
yeah. Okay, so do you have anyone more? Anyone who wants to share?
I can tell something. Hi.
Yeah, hello.
My name is Susan and I live under the Warsaw.
Yeah.
So actually I cannot see the city outside because I live near the national park. So all I see outside are the trees and
You're like
pretty
like
right.
such a loser right now.
Yeah, and we have pretty nice weather. So yeah, I'm right now I'm feeling kind of okay, but I really miss every like going outside. And right now, actually, in few days, I should after workshop I should be flying to Gran Canaria to surf with my friends, and unfortunately, we're not
Yeah.
going to be able to do it. So yeah, but I have a pretty
Yeah.
nice view outside my window.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot
Thank you.
for sharing. See you
I think we'll
tomorrow.
have a nice mosaic of like city, forest, window.
Yeah, broken dreams.
This
And
sounds like a nice combination. Okay, who else we got here? Please reveal yourself,
I can go next
please.
if you can hear me.
Yes.
Can you
yes,
hear
I
me?
can hear you.
Okay, so I live pretty close to school and in the residential areas. So my window outside my window would mostly be housings and gardens.
Mhm.
And I have a problem with my window. Actually, I cover everything with thick paper because the sunlight get in my room pretty bright. So I think 40% I would have to take in everything off. And that's it.
You can just, I mean, if it's like a lot of work, just take a picture of any other window you have in the house. Maybe it doesn't need to be precisely your room if it's any trouble, or you can have a cleaner or in more interesting view outside of any other window in the house. So that's to all of you. Just consider choosing the more
Yeah.
interesting one. Let's say.
I would, if I could say so, maybe Huang Wu. Hello.
Yes.
Maybe because we will have individual consultations tomorrow. So maybe do take a picture of the state of your window now, because it might also be interesting. Okay, so maybe do a couple of projects in relation to that, just to see, because it might be also interesting. Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Can you hear me? I can. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you.
I can't hear you guys, so maybe we'll see. But anyway.
Okay. So do we have any other person.
Hello,
who- Hello.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can
Okay.
hear you.
I'm Vasco. I'm Erasmus student. I'm from the third year from Portugal, and yeah, I'm living in Panska 7. It's near the Palace of Culture and the hotel. Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay, so you're staying in Warsaw right now, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. And how is the view out of your window?
It's not the best view, but I have like uh, a park with some trees and a building in front of my flat. So
Okay. And which floor are you living
the
in?
fourth,
Fourth?
yeah,
Okay. So it's like pretty good as well.
yeah, it's nice. It's nice.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot for
Thank-
introducing yourself. Okay. So do we have anyone who would like to say hi?
Hello.
Oh,
Can-
yes.
Yeah, I'm
Hello.
also an Erasmus student from Italy, but
Yeah.
at the moment
Buongiorno.
I'm in Olsztyn because the rent is cheaper than in Warsaw.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And yeah, my view is quite nice because I have like a park with a lot of trees and
Huh?
I can see the sunset in the evening, so it's very nice.
Is it empty, the park? Because today the restriction of was how can I say it? Okay, so I said another way. The gatherings can be maybe not gatherings, but people can attend the parks. And I was wondering if someone took the opportunity to take a walk the park. If you can see anyone right now there.
Sometimes I can see people bringing their dogs, but that's it.
Okay, so mainly the dogs and the people, not the for example bikers and so on.
Mm-mm.
And
Okay.
I have a question to you actually, because I didn't think about this before, but how can you receive anyhow information about let's say the new rules in Poland about the situation in English? How do you research your like how you can behave and so on? Is there any place, let's say platform or website or news website that you can actually have information in English about Poland?
Well, yes, if I think personally, I have the exchange office,
Okay.
student office that always tells us what we can do. And also the Polish government website about it, it's also in English, so I can read those there.
Okay, great.
Okay.
It would be great to kind of hear about your experience
Yeah, exactly.
during the workshops.
About the quarantine?
Yes, about how you are experiencing this time, because for you it's a double isolation. Yes, you are not only isolated at home, but you're also isolated from your home country.
Well, yeah, at the beginning it was a bit difficult because I really was worried for my relatives and for my country. But I'm also lucky because my brother lives here with his family, so I'm not totally alone. But I can say the same for my colleagues, Erasmus. I don't know about them.
Right. Very nice to hear you, Anna.
Thank you.
Do we have anyone else, Maciej?
Yeah. Wu just wrote that I have Polish friends who translate the news and update to me, which is also a nice touch of the solidarity among the friends. Okay, I think that we can stop right there, maybe.